In a world ruled by empires and torn by rebellion, 12 men stepped out of obscurity to change the fate of humanity. They were fishermen, tax collectors, zealots, and yet they became pillars of faith. This is the story of the 12 apostles, their lives, their missions, their martyrdom. Peter, the rock Simon, son of Jonah, better known as Peter, was a fisherman from Bethsaida, living in Capernaum. He was married, hardworking, and known for his impulsive nature. He was the first to declare Jesus as the Messiah. Christ gave him a new name, Peter, meaning the rock, saying, "Upon this rock I will build my church." Peter witnessed the transfiguration. He walked on water and also denied Jesus 3 times. But after the resurrection, Peter became a fiery leader. He preached in Jerusalem, faced imprisonment, performed miracles, and traveled to Antioch and Rome. Death. Around 64 AD, during Nero's persecution, Peter was crucified upside down in Rome, by his own request, deeming himself unworthy to die like Christ. James the Greater, the first martyr apostle James, the son of Zebedee and older brother of John, was one of Jesus' closest friends. He was present at the raising of Jairus' daughter, the transfiguration, and in Gethsemane. James had a fiery temper. Jesus nicknamed him and his brothers Sons of Thunder. After Christ's ascension, James preached in Judea and possibly Spain. But in 44 AD, King Herod Agrippa had him executed by the sword. Death. Beheaded in Jerusalem, he was the first of the apostles to be martyred. John, the beloved John, the younger brother of James, was gentle and introspective. He was likely the youngest apostle and the only one to die a natural death. He is believed to be the author of the Gospel of John, 3 epistles, and the book of Revelation. After Jesus' crucifixion, John took care of Mary, Jesus' mother, as instructed by Christ on the cross. John traveled and preached in Asia Minor, especially Ephesus. Death. Exiled to Patmos, he lived into his 90s and died around 100 AD, leaving behind a powerful legacy of love and faith. Andrew, the cross of X. Andrew was Peter's brother and the first disciple to follow Jesus. He brought others to Christ, first his brother, then many more. Tradition says he preached in Scythia, Thrace, and Greece. Death. In Patras, Greece, Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross. He preached to the crowd for 2 days as he hung there. He refused to be taken down. His final words praised the cross as a worthy place to die. Philip, the seeker. Philip was from Bethsaida, the same city as Peter and Andrew. He brought Nathanael, Bartholomew, to Christ. He asked Jesus, "Show us the Father," to which Christ replied, "He who has seen me has seen the Father." Philip preached in Asia Minor, especially in the city of Hierapolis. Death. He was martyred around 80 AD, either by crucifixion or stoning. One account says he was crucified upside down and continued preaching while dying. Bartholomew, the flayed also known as Nathanael, Bartholomew came from Cana in Galilee. Jesus called him a true Israelite in whom there is no deceit. He may have traveled to India, Armenia, Ethiopia, and Arabia, spreading the gospel. Death. In Armenia, he converted the king's brother, which enraged the king. He was flayed alive, his skin torn off, then beheaded. He is often depicted holding his own skin in Christian art. Matthew, the tax collector turned evangelist. Matthew, also known as Levi, was a tax collector, hated by Jews for working with the Romans. Yet Jesus chose him. He left his booth and followed. He authored the Gospel of Matthew, written for a Jewish audience to prove Jesus was the Messiah. He preached in Judea, then Ethiopia or Persia. Death. Accounts vary. Some say he was burned alive. Others say he was stabbed to death in Ethiopia while celebrating Mass. Thomas, The doubter who believed, known as Doubting Thomas, he famously said, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, I will not believe." When Jesus appeared, Thomas fell to his knees crying, "My Lord and my God." He went further than any apostle, traveling to India. The Mar Thoma Christians in southern India trace their origins to him. Death. Around 72 AD, he was speared to death near Chennai by local soldiers while praying. James the Less, the silent leader. James, son of Alphaeus, is often called James the Less to distinguish him from the other James. Not much is known about him, but he is sometimes equated with James the Just, the first bishop of Jerusalem. If so, he led the early Jewish Christian church and presided over the Council of Jerusalem in Acts 15. Death. He was stoned by Jewish leaders in Jerusalem around 62 AD, then struck in the head with a club. Thaddeus Jude, the forgotten preacher, also called Jude, son of James, not to be confused with Judas Iscariot. He authored the Epistle of Jude, warning believers of false teachers. He preached in Judea, Samaria, Syria, Mesopotamia, and possibly Armenia. Death, martyred around 65 AD, beaten to death with a club or axe in Persia. Simon the Zealot. The revolutionary Simon was a zealot, a member of a political group that sought to overthrow Roman rule. His radical background was transformed into spiritual zeal. He preached in Egypt, North Africa, and possibly Persia. Death. Accounts vary. Some say he was sawn in half, others say crucified, and some believe he was martyred alongside Jude in Persia. Judas Iscariot, the betrayer. Judas Iscariot's name is forever linked with betrayal. He sold Jesus to the chief priests for 30 pieces of silver. When he saw Jesus condemned, he was filled with regret and returned the money. He then took his own life. Death. The Gospels say he hanged himself. Acts adds that he fell and his body burst open. Either way, he died in disgrace. His place among the 12 was replaced by Matthias. Matthias, the chosen replacement. After Judas's death, the apostles prayed and cast lots to choose his replacement. Matthias was selected. He had followed Jesus from his baptism to his ascension. He preached in Cappadocia and along the Caspian Sea. Death. Tradition says he was stoned and beheaded in what is now Georgia. They began as fishermen, tax collectors, nationalists, and skeptics. They ended as saints, martyrs, and missionaries. They carried the gospel across continents. They founded churches, wrote scripture, healed the sick, and cast out demons. Their courage lit the fire of faith in the ancient world. 11 of the 12 died violent deaths. Only John died naturally. None recanted. Today, their names echo in cathedrals, churches, and cities. Statues are built in their honor. Scriptures bear their words. Millions follow the faith they spread. They were not perfect, but they were chosen, and through them, the world was changed forever.